So one of the hot topics this year is wearable computing devices, and Fossil was recently at my house and showed me some of their wearable computing devices, which are a lot of fun to talk about. But today we're going to hear about Allerta, which is making some really cool watches that hook up to your Android and Blackberry phones. Who are you?
My name's Eric Migicovski. I'm the founder of Allerta, and we're the guys behind the inPulse smartwatch. Came up with the idea actually while I was biking. I was doing an exchange term in Europe. I was studying in the Netherlands. I was constantly biking around, and I always felt like, why is my cell phone vibrating in my pocket? And I wanted to just be able to look down at my wrist and see who was calling or emailing me, so I wouldn't have to pull out my phone and drop it into a canal.
You're not trying to become the world's biggest watch brand, at least not in the next couple months. Maybe that's your long-term
Yeah, maybe we'll put
evil
it out,
plan, right?
Yeah, past a year. But we're interested in really just unlocking the potential of your smartphone. So you've got a lot of information locked in your smartphone. You've got emails, Twitter messages, Facebook, events, calendars. And we're trying to get that information out into the real world. So, for example, if you have a calendar alert, you can quickly have that pop up on your watch and see what's next on your daily schedule.
Now that we've seen lots of apps on iPhones and Android phones, we're seeing people use it for running and exercising and skiing, and those are places where you might not want to pull your phone out like you talked about.
Exactly, yeah. So if you're skiing down the hill, but a lot of people are using cell phones to communicate while they ski. This is a great way of not having to pull out your phone while you're on a chairlift. Take, for example, we come from Canada, so we're from Toronto. It's cold there, it's winter, people are wearing their gloves, you're packed up fully. But if your cell phone's under a couple of layers of clothing, you still want to be able to see who's calling pretty quickly. So quick glance at inPulse lets you know.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the hardware, first of all, and then we'll talk about the SDK that lets developers build cool stuff for this.
Sure, yeah. The hardware we designed while we were studying at the University of Waterloo up in Canada. And it was something we put together for a school project and then started showing around the area. And it turned out that tons of people said this is exactly what we want. We're hardcore smartphone users, and we want to be able to see what's going on our smartphone, on our wrist.
Yeah.
So we started commercializing the technology. We worked with the government of Canada to raise a bit of money, put together our version 1, and started shipping.
So what's inside the watch?
So inside the watch,
yeah,
we've got a PCB. On the PCB, we've got an ARM7 microcontroller made by NXP. And we connect that to a Bluetooth chipset, and we've written our own operating system, basically, that runs on the watch. It's real time, and it communicates with the Bluetooth chipset. You can connect basically to any device, any other Bluetooth device that supports the L2 CAP protocol.
Okay.
So for example, we've got Android apps, an example Android app built out. We have a great Blackberry app, which forwards all your emails and text messages and calendar alerts to your watch. And we've got an OLED screen. An OLED is the organic LED screens that are coming out these days. It's great, it's bright, full color, 96 by 128 pixels,
Yep.
just to give you an idea of what you can pull off there. And it's about a 1.25 inch diagonal display.
And it's a color display,
Yes.
which is different than a lot of the watches. I mean, Fossil was out here. Fossil is one of the world's biggest watch manufacturers, and they
I'm
made.
familiar with those guys.
Yeah, I bet you are. But they built a lot of the Spot watch technology back when Microsoft was playing around with this.
Yeah, so Spot tried to do it about 5 or 6 years ago. Didn't really pull it off.
Yeah.
We're running with a little bit of a different model. Spot aimed to have a metropolitan radio network serving data to all these different watches. But what we've noticed is that more and more people are carrying around data plans in their pocket. They're paying $30, $40 for a data plan. So what our device does is it unlocks some of that data without having to buy a new 3G plan or something like that.
Very cool. And it lasts, if you leave the display on, it lasts, 20 hours, you
24 hours, and if you turn the display off, it's about 30.
Right. Very cool. And what kinds of things are you seeing people build for, and what kinds of things have you already built with this? So give me a sense of, and maybe you can show them to me, what kinds of applications you have.
Sure, yeah. So one of the things that we wanted to do with inPulse was show how developers could grab information from another data source and display it on your watch. So a couple of apps that we launched with were an iTunes controller. So you could actually click your watch and change the track or pause the track or skip to the next track, and you could see the name of the track pop up. So if you're using your MacBook or something as your media console in your house, instead of having to like interrupt the party and go over to change your track, you could just click it from your wrist.
Now are these, is the display touchable, or do you have to push a button?
It's a single button, and we did design that for a specific reason. We wanted to emphasize the fact that this watch is not like having a Blackberry on your wrist. You can't send email, you can't, do all kinds of crazy stuff. It's designed with one point, in mind, to efficiently see small bits of information. Yeah. And the one button helps you do that. It lets you interact with your watch even when you're not looking at it, because there's only one button. And you can do a surprisingly large number of things. You can scan through menus, you can click into menus, you can even open up a taskbar that we've designed at the bottom of the watch.
Part of what you're trying to do is build an ecosystem around the watch.
So just recently we've launched developer support for the watch. Previously, the way you would get code onto the watch, all of the firmware is written over the air, so there's no way for this to get out of date. It's all done over the air, over Bluetooth. You don't even have to plug it in. Before we would release a new Blackberry application, and it would have the core firmware embedded inside the Blackberry application, and you'd press a button inside the Blackberry app which says like send firmware to watch. And now what we're doing is we're allowing developers to create their own firmwares for the watch. So we've opened up an SDK that allows developers to basically code right on top of our microcontroller on the watch. Full control of the display. We've abstracted the Bluetooth protocol, so it's super easy to send messages back and forth from a laptop, from an Android phone, from a jailbroken iPhone to the watch. It's as easy as just like registering a callback, so when a new message comes into the watch, your app running on the watch will be able to grab that information and do whatever you want with it. Display something on screen, maybe prompt the user for input, like this little iTunes controller. We've even made a PowerPoint controller, so you could actually change your deck from your watch, which is pretty cool.
Could you build an app like a Foursquare app that would say you're at the Ritz-Carlton, would you like to check in?
So what I was working on late last night was a Facebook check-in app where you'd hold down the button for about 2 seconds, and then it would actually talk to your phone and find out your GPS coordinate, ping the Facebook server for the places around where you are, and then pop up those places on your watch. So you could just like quickly scan through and say, okay, yeah, I'm at the Ritz. Click, and boom, you've checked in.
Very cool. So the button press can actually communicate back to the phone, which can communicate out to services.
So if you want to, maybe you want to make an autoresponder for SMS. So when you get an SMS, you could just click on a hold and it will respond automatically. Or maybe people can make an autoresponder for while they're driving. Maybe you're getting a call and you just want to respond quickly saying, I'll call you back in half an hour. You just press and hold your watch.
How much do these cost?
It's $149.
That's pretty cheap, because I know the Fossil guys were thinking of $200 somewhere in that.
Yeah, well, $149. We're trying to hit the price point where it's almost an impulse buy. So.
Can you do video on there? Or?
Probably not. We only have a megabyte of serial flash right now, so we don't have massive amounts of storage. But theoretically, people could stream images over to the watch. Right now, you crunch an image pack and then send that at once to the watch. The cool thing about wearing a watch that's interactive like this is it's sort of in the front of your mind. You see it on a pretty regular basis. When your watch vibrates, you feel it. It's not like a cell phone where you might miss the call or something like that, but when you feel your watch vibrate, you feel it. So you could think about really cool applications where proximity comes into play, or even other people wearing watches. They can do watch-to-watch communication as well. So little one-button games. Some of our interns have actually made a couple games that you can just like click through with one button.
Can't quite play Angry Birds on it yet.
No, that would be pretty cool. What do we have? We have a ninja game. We have like a Guitar Hero thing, and helicopter.
Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any sensors on it, does it?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay. So it's not sensing blood flow or accelerometer.
No,
or anything like that?
Starting out, we just wanted to create a product that would be immediately useful to people, for like the most simple product that would provide a quantum of utility. It's very, very much in the PG school of thought.
PG is Paul Graham.
Paul Graham, the Y Combinator.
Yeah.
Basically, we're saying that we wanted to build something that people could use quickly and extract value from it. So people that are really, addicted to their Crackberry immediately start using inPulse, and they say, wow, I don't have to pull up my Blackberry a billion times per day. Now I can just see if the message is important enough, and then maybe I'll respond later when I have a moment or two.
Take me through writing a simple app like putting a cube on here. How would I write that?
Yeah, that's a pretty good guess. Actually, the falling cube is one of the core sample apps of our SDK. So here's how you would write an app. You would open up your text editor, open up one of our example apps, maybe change something. You could add hello world. So just using printf, you could printf right to the screen. Then you'd save the file, and you'd hit a one-line Python command, which compiles the app and sends it to the watch with one command.
Oh, wow.
So it's as easy. I mean, the steps to install, you got to install Python, and you have to install a Bluetooth library for Python, and then you're able to talk to your watch.
Very cool. Probably because the first people who will buy these are geeks, probably. Are you doing like server monitoring? Hey, my cloud server's down. Couldn't that show up?
Yeah, actually, one of the examples is a ping application where you can set up a little Python script on your laptop to ping a server, and then send the ping time to your watch. So okay. You could set up an alert. Maybe if your server's pinging really slowly, then you better find out.
Show me some of the colors you have, because you have full color. And these are actually refreshing quite quickly.
This is being rendered in real time. It's a 3D sort of graphics demo that we have. Not that we have full 3D, but it was actually written by another hacker for fans of Hackaday.
And you can see that it doesn't refresh at 30 frames a second. It's refreshing one frame every 2 or 3
Yeah,
seconds.
this is because it's generating every single image in there. There's another app here. A hacker ported Doom to the watch, and you can actually drive a character around the map. It's very difficult to control, but we feel like it's a nice little example of something rendered in real time on the watch.
Okay. I saw one of the apps was you were controlling a PowerPoint slide deck from the watch, so
yeah.
You can go next slide or back.
Yeah, exactly. And we thought it would be cool. We haven't built this out yet, but it should be pretty easy for anyone to hack out. What if you can get your speaking notes on the watch? So if you're in the middle of a talk, maybe a long talk, and you just want to be quickly reminded, what was that one point that I wanted to say on this slide? And you can quickly glance down. It wouldn't be too intrusive. It would be pretty discreet, and you'd be able to.
It's a great cheating mechanism for school, right?
Yeah. So we have a couple hundred beta testers right now. And we've got beta testers on both sides. We've got some teachers that are using it to use their Blackberry, covertly at the front of the classroom. And on the other side, we have students who are using inPulse to, keep in contact with their friends during class.
Very cool. Where do you think this is going?
This is our first version. We're putting it out there. We're really excited to see what people do with it. But that having been said, it's a fast-moving market, and we have to be able to, fill the needs of what developers and users want.
Yeah.
So
now, how are you making these things?
It's a good story. We actually started by making these in our garage. We got the circuit boards made by a contract manufacturer, and we connected the dots. We talked to some guys who could do metal manufacturing and some plastic injection molding people, and we built this product basically from scratch.
Tell me a little bit about the fundamentals of the company. How's it funded? And
so we're not funded at the moment. That having been said, we're interested in raising some money to be able to get this product to the next level. The cool thing is we're making money already. So we've already got quite a bit of revenue coming in from people buying the watch. So for example, our beta users paid us because they felt like they were getting quite a bit of value from what we were giving them.
Yep. And are you part of the Y Combinator program?
Yep.
I heard a rumor.
We joined the YC class of winter 2011.
Okay.
It's a little bit different than our startup community back in Waterloo, Ontario. It's busy. You do a lot of work, and it's really motivating to be able to have everyone around you working just as hard as you are. It makes you feel like you're doing something useful, and other people are in the same boat as you, so you can compare stories and compare war stories.
Where do we find it? Find info on it?
You can search inPulse on Google or go to getinpulse.com.
And it's inPulse. It's I-N.
I-N.
As in Nancy, right?
Exactly.
Cool.
Like your information pulse.
And are you guys on Twitter as well?
Yep, at getinPulse.
Okay. And what about you personally?
I'm Eric Migi.
Okay.
On Twitter.
Very cool. Well, thanks. I'm looking forward to getting mine.
No problem. Thanks for inviting us out.
Cool. Thanks.